Welcome to the W Challenge. We will be here to celebrate Women's Equality Day today. So are you ready to celebrate? Awesome energy, and the sun is bright today. So now I will pass the mic to our MC for today, and also one of the co-founders of the W Challenge, San Francisco City Administrator Carmen Chu.
Hello, the sun is shining in San Francisco. Happy Women's Equality Day. For folks who may not know, in 1971, Women's Equality Day was established by Congress in order to commemorate the passage of the 19th Amendment, which really provided for the beginning of the women's ability to vote. Now, last year, we celebrated the 100-year anniversary of this time period. However, we didn't get to really celebrate. It was COVID-19. We had many things that we had to adjust for. There were many changes in our lives, how we did work, how we interacted with each other, how we had to make sure that we kept our community and our families and loved ones safe. But what we did see during the pandemic was an incredibly difficult time. It was a difficult time for many of our workers, many of our most vulnerable, including our seniors. And we also saw that it was a time which really exposed and laid bare some of the inequities that we face as women. Women, we saw, had greater levels of unemployment during this COVID-19 time, greater economic instability, and often being many times the primary caregivers of family, whether it's elderly in our families or our household or young children, also having to make some of the most difficult trade-off decisions about caring for their loved ones during this time period or going out to work. And so it was especially during this time, during COVID-19, that we see just how important it is to not only make sure we continue to recognize Women's Equality Day, but also continue to support efforts like this, the W Challenge, that really seeks to uplift the voices of women. We know that when women vote, when women participate, things can change. So today we have come together in a call to action. Many people may not know September 14th is actually an election day. We actually have an election out there. Ballots are out. They've been mailed out. Our challenge to all of you is to go out and to vote. Please make sure that you do that civic engagement, that participation, deciding the future of your city, your community. It's so important not only for you to vote, but let's make sure that we also get the people around us to get up, to step up, to vote as well. And so today we have a number of speakers who are here who are just amazing, amazing leaders in their own right. I'm going to be recognizing a number of folks who have joined us today, but of course, one of those most amazing leaders that we've gotten today is our very own Speaker, Nancy Pelosi. She truly needs no introduction, but if you indulge me, I remember when she first became Speaker, we saw the newspaper articles and it said Madam Speaker plastered on top of it. And I can just remember that very day thinking, wow, things are going to change. At the very, very top of our government, we have a woman who is really showing the way, who is making it normal for women to be in power and to have a say and a seat at the table. So without further ado, Nancy Pelosi.
Thank you very much, Carmen. I accept your kind words on behalf of the House Democrats who had the courage to elect a woman Speaker of the House when it was new. I've seen Carmen in this W Challenge rise up in the ranks from one position to another. Thank you for your great leadership as well. It's an honor to be here with you and the mayor and Malia Cohen and Supervisor Stefani, who represents the district I live in here, Kimberly Ellis, Alison Goh, and of course, Carmen Chu. It's great to be here with you. I just have some special guests with me today. Of course, my daughter, Christine, who has on her purple and white, which she always wears. And two of my college roommates from Trinity College, Washington, D.C., Rita Meyer and Celia Haggerty. And I have on our scarf from the college. Imagine that it was purple and gold. The colors of the suffragettes, Rita and Cecilia, who are with us today. I'm honored they're here to get a taste of San Francisco and how enthusiastic we are about women. 101 years ago, after fighting, marching, struggling, starving, being starved, women gained the right to vote, won the right to vote. The newspapers at the time said women given the right to vote. That could not have been further from the truth. It was a big fight, and it was historic, and it was transformative. Here we are 101 years later, women in positions of high responsibility, but an attack on the right to vote that is happening in our country. A few days ago, on Tuesday, in the House of Representatives, under the leadership of Terry Sewell, a woman from Selma, Alabama, we passed the John Lewis Voting Rights Enhancement Act to offset the damage that the courts are doing to the right to vote. And in doing so, we also need the Senate to pass it and to pass H.R. 1, which is legislation to overturn the voter suppression laws that are being enacted across the country, not only to suppress the vote, but to nullify the vote. So we have important work to do. We have important work to do. And as Carmen said, we have an election coming up in California in just a couple of weeks, and we must all vote in that election. Okay, so let's talk about what a difference it makes. People always say to me, how exciting was it to be up there with Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, and now the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, standing behind Joe Biden when he made his speech, when he made his State of the Union, his message to a joint session of Congress. But of course it was exciting, and all the pride we take in Vice President Harris, that's for sure. But what was really important was the speech he made. It wasn't about women standing behind him. It was what we were doing for women going forward. And he made a speech that is our fight right now, and as Carmen said, where women have made the difference in supporting a Build Back Better agenda. Build Back Better for women. Build Back Better for women. We have child care, child tax credit, family and medical leave, paid family and medical leave, universal pre-K, child tax credit. Did I say that again and again? The list goes on of what he has put into his agenda, which is the Biden agenda for women. And this is where women make a difference. We wouldn't have such an aggressive agenda. Rosa DeLauro has been working on these issues for 2 decades at least, and some of the other initiatives. We would have expanded benefits for Medicare, expanded subsidies for Affordable Care Act. We will have more benefits, dental, visual, and hearing for people on Medicare. This is all about empowering women so that their families are cared for, that their children are cared for, so that we can have women in the workplace making the difference. Children learning, families earning, parents earning, that's our motto in all of this. So all of this is connected to the vote. Think of the courage it took for the suffragists to reach that goal. It took decades. It took decades. We stand on their shoulders. But as Terry Sewell told us the other day in the debate on the floor, one of the women, 100 and something years old, who came to State of the Union address of President Obama, she said, he said to her, everyone is standing on your shoulders. And she said, get off my shoulders and do your own work. And that is what we are doing here. So we're very pleased. People always ask me, what is in the water in San Francisco that you have so many women leaders coming representing this area? Well, what it is our shared values, our commitment to diversity. And I always say our diversity is our strength, our unity is our power. The unity of women will make change, transform our country. When women succeed, America succeeds. Thank you all very much. I yield back to Carmen, too.
Thank you, Speaker. Our next speaker is our very own Mayor London Breed. I think when we talk about what it means to make a difference as a woman leader, you can see it in our pandemic response. San Francisco was one of the first cities to come out and to act decisively and clearly following the science when it came to COVID-19. Hundreds and hundreds of lives were saved, and now San Francisco has almost 80% of our eligible people vaccinated. That is a difference. I want to thank Mayor Breed for her leadership, and just imagine if we had more leaders like this across the country. Thank you.
Well, hopefully we'll get to a point where we don't have to wear these masks, but in the meantime, are we fired up, ladies? Because we know the fight is not over, and let me tell you, it is such an honor to be here with our speaker, Nancy Pelosi. I don't know about you, but I don't know a woman who is tougher, more fierce than Nancy Pelosi. And you all remember that day when she walked out of the former president's office, threw her coat up and threw her shades on. She was like, I'm outie. I came here to say what I needed to say, and I don't have time to play with you. I got a country to run. That's Speaker Nancy Pelosi. She is fierce. She is a woman of courage, and she still makes time to not only deliver for the people of San Francisco, but also to show up for the people of San Francisco, to show up for her community. And you know why? Because she's a woman and we know how to multitask. We know how to we'll cook you dinner, do the laundry, save the country, all at the same time. She raised like 5 kids while she was running for office with a baby on her hip while she's asking for your vote. That's our speaker, and that's women in general. It's what we do. It's why women make such great leaders. And as we celebrate the fight that Madam Speaker talked about to ensure that women have a seat at the table, that we are able to vote and make our own decisions, today is a chance to recommit ourselves to what has happened in the past. Today, we show up with our ballots so that our voices are heard, so that regardless of who is in office, they know that they are accountable to women and what we care about. We know that there continues to be work around policies and investments, but we want to make sure that we remember this day to recommit ourselves to the fight that we know still continues for equal pay, the fight that still continues, so that we can have lactate stations for women in the workplace, so that women are appointed to boards and commissions, so that we are in industries, so that women are in industries that typically they are not. Today I did a groundbreaking, 200 new affordable housing units in San Francisco. And I was so proud of my friend Lori Dunn, who is leading in the construction industry. She was leading and championing this project, an industry predominantly dominated by men. We know that here in San Francisco, we celebrate our diversity, and part of our diversity is ensuring that women are on boards and commissions. We have had a setback, yes, on the Board of Supervisors, Supervisor Stephanie. But we also know that with those men, we have to make sure they are held accountable to support the things that Supervisor Stephanie continues to push forward. We are grateful to our City Administrator, Carmen Chu, for her continued work to bring this challenge to the forefront. And we want to continue to recommit ourselves and to remind people today is a day for uplifting and celebration. Yes, challenges continue to persist. Work continues to get done. And before, I just noticed an extraordinary woman and a few other women I want to take an opportunity to acknowledge. We talk about my leadership on COVID, but my leadership had everything to do with having a strong team of women leaders in this city who helped pave the way to make the hard decisions to help save lives. And one of those women is standing to my right, Mary Ellen Carroll, who's the head of the Department of Emergency Management, as well as our fire chief, who's behind me, Janine Nicholson. a number of doctors, including Dr. Baba and Dr. Susan Phillip, and so many other extraordinary women who continue to lead this city, who continue to keep us safe. Today is a celebration. Today is a reminder of work that needs to be done. And today, as you hear from some other inspirational women, Madam Speaker, we are going to continue to make sure that we rededicate ourselves to getting out the vote, to getting women elected, to holding politicians and others accountable to do what is best to make sure that we are serving the people. You have been an extraordinary example of that. We honor you, we thank you, and we thank all the men who are here today, Chief, and others who continue to uplift and support women in all the work that they do. Thank you all so much for coming. Have a wonderful celebration.
I want to take a time to, of course, recognize a few folks who have joined us here. Joaquin Torres, our assessor. Jose Cisneros, our treasurer. Former Supervisor Norman Yee. Of course, Catherine Stephanie, who we'll hear from just in a little bit. But we also have a number of other departments that we're going to hear from also in a bit too. But I do want to introduce our next speaker, who is, of course, none other than Malia Cohen, former member of the Board of Supervisors representing District 10 here. Fierce woman leader, new mom, but also making history as the first Black woman to serve on the California Board of Equalizations. Malia Cohen.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies. And good afternoon to the fellas who love the ladies. Love the ladies and support the ladies. Well, we are here to celebrate. And we must lift our voices and say, despite the ravages of the pandemic and despite all of our countries what they have gone through, we still stand here strong, united, and undivided. Nothing can stop us, and we will prevail. Why? Because elections have consequences. Is that right, Madam Speaker? We will prevail because we know that through all of our votes, we can change the world. We've seen it done before, and we will do it again. Through our votes, we elected an administration, a speaker, and a Congress that enacted the largest ever federal tax credit for working families. Let's give a round of applause for that. That's huge. When I think about Speaker Pelosi, I think about a moment just last week when a member of the press said to her, "How did the deal go?" And Speaker Pelosi said, "What deal?" Deadpan, dead serious. I love that. But through our votes, we have fought and we have won $1.9 trillion in COVID relief, to bring vaccines to all of our communities of color, to fund safely reopening our schools. And here in California, our voices and our votes have led the state budget to do incredible things. It's provided increased funds for healthcare, invested in early childhood education, and most importantly, it has reduced poverty by providing an increase of 5.3% for grants to family on CalWorks. Yes. That is incredible. For women, for our families, and for our children, these victories matter. And who knows, perhaps next year we will be standing where you are standing, and the men will be celebrating us all by themselves, celebrating and saying how wonderful these women are and how their lives are so enhanced when a woman is in charge and a woman is running things. I don't know. I'm speaking it into existence. But these things matter because fighting for decent, humane policies is key to making women's lives better. And the only way we will continue to make progress is by voting. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you will join me in making sure that you cast your vote today, tomorrow, or just before September 14th. Hold up your ballot if you have it. Come on. Hold up your ballot if you have it. We are going to march, and we're going to turn in these ballots today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to all of the women leaders that are standing up here with me. Thank you.
I think Malia just issued the next W challenge to all the men out here. Our next speaker is Catherine Stephanie, Supervisor representing District 2. If anybody knows Catherine, in every single conversation I've had with her, the word I would say is just relentless and focused. Focused on ending gun violence, focused on making sure that we stop domestic violence. She is no more dedicated person. There is no dedicated person who is more entrenched in this issue and more dedicated to pushing this than Supervisor Stephanie. So I want to thank her for all of her work and invite her to speak.
Thank you so much, Carmen. It is truly an honor and a privilege to be here with these incredible women. Speaker Pelosi, Mayor Breed, Member Cohen, I am just in awe of all of you. And thank you again to Carmen for bringing us all together today to celebrate Women's Equality Day. You know, I really thought a lot about what do I want to say today? And in light of the fact that I have a 12-year-old daughter, I have a lot to say. My daughter stands in my closet, puts on a blazer, and says, "Mom, when I'm a lawyer, I'm going to do this." And I think about her future, and I think about how we have to protect our future with climate change, with gun violence prevention, with reproductive rights. There's so much we have to do to preserve the future of my daughter and the daughters and sons of all of us. We know why we have Women's Equality Day. We're celebrating our right to vote, and we know that not everyone got the right to vote in 1920. It wasn't until 1965 that black women also received the right to vote. And as Speaker Pelosi said, we weren't given the right to vote. We had to fight so hard for it, and we cannot forget what the women before us had to do to earn this right, to fight for this right. So we come together today to honor that, and we not only come together today to honor those women who went before us, but to shine a light on the inequality that we still suffer today. That inequality shows up in our everyday lives. We know, particularly women of color, still do not get the pay we deserve. We are not equal to men when it comes to pay. And paying women, especially those, paying women equally could cut poverty rates in half for employed women and bring millions of children out of poverty. We work for less and we do twice the amount. I know that's true in my house. It's as if someone makes dinner and they get an extra credit button, but I didn't say that out loud. Women accounted for 100% of lost jobs in December 2020, while men had a net gain in employment. We know that domestic violence has skyrocketed during the pandemic as women were in lockdown with their abusers. And I'm also surprised to hear even locally with domestic violence, prosecutions are not what they should be. And attitudes that victims need to agree to prosecution before we do anything is absolutely wrong. It's 1950s thinking. In 2018, the United States was named the 10th most dangerous country in the world for women. And that's because of domestic violence. And that's because of our gun violence epidemic. And who do you think is on the front lines of fighting both those issues? Women. Yes. So how do we honor the foremothers and all those who have paved the way? And I can tell you what we don't do, and this is what is keeping me up at night. We do not pave a way and create a pathway for California's leading misogynist to become governor, and I'm not going to say his name, but I am going to say some of the things that he says. We must stand together and vote no on this recall. Too much is at stake. We cannot afford to be complacent. Women, you just cannot afford to be complacent right now. The leading candidate to replace the governor who everyone's talking about does not care about women and does not care about the issues we care about. You know what he says about women? And I quote, "Women know less than men about political issues, economics, and current events. Good news for Democrats, bad news for Republicans. For the less one knows, the easier the manipulation." Well, I'll tell you, I'll take him on any day. And so will all these women. He also says glass ceiling, what glass ceiling? Women exaggerate the problem of sexism. Oh, do we? He compared single mothers on welfare to stray cats. He says women exaggerate violence against women and domestic violence for the political gain of feminists. In January 2017, he tweeted that women taking part in the Women's March were too unattractive to be sexually assaulted, and he also mocked women attending the march as obese. Well, I'll tell you what, I was there, and I did not see unattractive women, and I did not see obese women. What I saw was a million women fed up with the status quo, fed up with the continued inequality, fed up with the fact that our reproductive rights are threatened, fed up with the fact that we can't get common sense gun violence prevention passed in the federal level. We are fed up. And we cannot afford to sit this recall out. You must vote no. We need to harness that energy that I saw in 2017 and show up to the ballot. We must. Our children's lives are at stake here. So please join me in voting no on this recall. Drop that ballot in the mail. Show up on Election Day, September 14th. And please encourage everyone you know to do the same. We cannot afford to be complacent and hand this state over to people who don't care about our issues. Thank you.
Please join me in another round of applause for Supervisor Stephanie. Thank you so much. Just a few more folks to just recognize here. We have Chief Bill Scott, Michael Lambert, our city librarian, Viva Moga, Election Commission, our board, MTA Board of Directors, Sharon Lai, Linda Jarrell, Maria Sue, Carol Eisen, Debbie Raphael. We've got a ton of women leaders who are here with us today that I want to make sure just to mention. Cheryl Davis, Karen Roy, Claire Farley, Adrienne Pond, Samantha Allen, Valley Brown, Maggie Wieland, Lenita Henriquez, and Virginia Donahue. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Now it's getting hot, so please bear with me. 2 more speakers, and you're going to see it's worthwhile. We've got 2 speakers ready to come up and speak. The first one is going to be Kimberly Ellis. She has started with the city not that long ago as leading the helm in terms of our department on the status of women. She is no stranger to the issue of women's empowerment, leading California Emerge. Kimberly.
Each time a woman stands up for herself, without knowing it possibly, without claiming it, she stands up for all women. Those, of course, were the words of the incomparable Maya Angelou. Today, the women up here stand up for ourselves, for each other, and for all the women who will come after us. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kimberly Ellis. I'm the director for the Department on the Status of Women. Our mission is to promote the equitable treatment and advancement of women, girls, and non-binary people in San Francisco through policies, legislation, and programs, both within city and county government and in the private sector, with a particular focus on populations in need. Today, the work of DOSW is focused in 3 core service areas to catalyze transformative change in the lives of women, girls, and gender nonconforming people. Those areas are health and safety, economic security, and civic engagement and political empowerment. Through these 3 areas, the department aims to improve the whole lives of our targeted communities, including their health, wealth, physical safety, and well-being. Our programming is designed to not just create balance when it comes to the construct of gender, but also to empower women, girls, and gender nonconforming people with the tools and resources they need to build pathways to healthy and prosperous futures. On this day, more than 100 years ago, the 19th Amendment was added to the Constitution of the United States, extending the right to vote to women across the country. Women's Equality Day is a day to celebrate that moment, which was the result of the tireless efforts and leadership of a multi-generational, multiracial movement, including Black, Indigenous, Asian, and Latina women who fought, marched, organized, and protested for decades to gain the right to vote, only to be blocked from the voting booths and later written out of history. And unfortunately, that is the story all too often, that women and women of color primarily are counted out, our efforts erased, and our voices silenced. Whether it's through the literacy tests, poll taxes, or the violent intimidation of the past, or the closing of polling places, the purging of voter rolls, or the attacks on vote by mail today. The fight for the right to vote continues. This occasion is not only a day to celebrate, but also a moment to double down on our commitment to continue the struggle so that our democracy is not just representative, but reflective, as we visualize and manifest a more just and equal society for all. Over the last century, women have fought to gain access to the classroom, to the boardroom, and to the decision-making tables where our very lives and livelihoods are determined. And with each advancement, we have seen and felt the impact that comes when women actively participate in determining our own futures. We know that diverse voices, perspectives, and lived experiences bring forth new issues, new ideas, and nuanced and sustainable solution to the halls of power. We cannot and will not sit out and let others define what's important to us, our families, and our communities. As we've witnessed in the past several elections, women are the margin of victory. And to reiterate what our illustrious Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, always reminds us of, when women succeed, we all succeed. And when women vote, we all win. In honor of our foremothers and our sisters in the struggle, I join my colleagues and fellow women leaders here to urge you to make your voices heard and cast your ballot today and no later than September 14th in the upcoming special election. Happy Women's Equality Day to all. Thank you and good afternoon.
All right, ladies, are you ready for your last speaker? Are you ready for your last speaker? All right, it's hot because voting's hot, everyone. Alison Goh, who is the SF president of the League of Women Voters.
Hey everybody, thank you for having me on this very warm, sunny San Francisco day. So today's really special to me, Women's Equality Day, both as a young woman and an immigrant, and for those who can't see me, I'm soon-to-be mom. So I'm very excited to be standing here and sharing this podium with so many of my heroines, Speaker Pelosi, Mayor, so many Board of Supervisors, Kimberly Ellis. What a great group of speakers we have today. Thank you to everybody who has helped plan this today, especially my League of Women Voters volunteers, Kathy, who's really helped out with this. Anyway, my name is Alison Goh, and I'm the president of the League of Women Voters of San Francisco. We are a nonpartisan, volunteer-run organization focused on voter education and advocacy efforts here in San Francisco for over 100 years. In fact, our league is older than the National League, and we're very proud of that. This current election is unlike most elections and with unprecedented challenges. This election is different than most, One, election day is September 14th. Two, it's nice and simple. There's only 2 things to vote on. We don't have to worry about dozens of ballot measures this time. And 3, since we are in the middle of a global pandemic, the state of California has continued to lead on voter accessibility and has mailed every registered voter a mail-in ballot. If you received your ballot, that's great. Fill it out and return it as soon as possible. If you haven't received it or need to update your registration, contact the Board of Elections. We have a lot of FAQs and information about where you can return your ballot on our website at lwvsf.org/vote. In other League of Women Voters activities, we are also working really hard on redistricting. Now, many folks hear a lot about federal redistricting, but did you know that you too can get involved in the process right here in San Francisco? Redistricting will change our Board of Supervisors district lines and affect our daily life. We have resources and information on our website, again, lwvsf.org/redistricting, including a recording of our recent webinars, including one on defining your communities of interest. We only get this chance to redraw our voting lines once in a decade. Now, the census data is out, and we're off to engage with our local government, so you should get involved, either with us or on your own. And the redistricting task force needs to have the final set of district maps done by April 2022. So now is the time to make your voice heard. And we need your voice so that our voting maps are fair and equitable. We have 9 San Franciscans who have been appointed to your local redistricting task force. If you want to get to know them, we have their bios on our website, lwvsf.org. I've actually met a few of them recently, and they're really looking forward to hearing from our fellow San Franciscans like you about your communities and your voting maps. If you've ever walked down the San Francisco street and thought about how one side of the street is on one district and the other is on a completely different district, or maybe there's a part of your own neighborhood that you think looks, feels, and identifies as your community, but for reasons unknown to you is in a completely different supervisorial district, these are things you can tell the redistricting task force. If you caught the San Francisco Chronicle article last week, one of the task force members, Raynell Cooper, actually took the time to walk all 50 miles of district lines. It's a really great article. I highly recommend check it out. So just to wrap it up, just a friendly reminder, turn in your recall ballot by September 14th, and then get involved with local redistricting. Thank you for having me. Thank you for all of our speakers. Happy Women's Equality Day.
Thank you for getting out here, Alison. I do want to recognize Supervisor Asha Safai, who's joined us as well. And now I want to say thank you for all of the attendees for coming. Let's get on the steps and take a quick group photo. Thank you.
Mary, can I get a smile right here? Madam, I need a smile. I got you. Thank you.
All right.